Hello and welcome back to Gapeys Grow Room. Today we're going to be starting our cherry tomatoes, and we've got a whole bunch of new varieties from Bill Yoder. If you saw my tomato planting video that I posted last week of the paste and tomato varieties, I had some of his beefsteaks in that video, but we've got lots of cherry tomatoes from him as well that we're going to be trying this season. So I'll be going over all those, and also we'll be starting some micro dwarf and dwarf tomatoes as well. Now I like to start my cherry tomatoes and micro dwarfs about a week after my paste and beefsteaks because they just grow a lot more quickly, so we don't need to start them as early. And they ripen a lot earlier as well. I mentioned in my previous video that I'm going to be growing all new to me varieties this season, and there is one exception. I do grow Berry's Crazy Cherry every single year, and this is the first year I'm not growing it. But one I am growing that I grew for the first time last year is called Shimo Fury. So Shimo Fury is a beautiful variegated tomato that has super sweet cherry tomatoes. And this is my go-to hanging basket tomato. So this is a tumbling variety. And I like growing tomatoes in hanging baskets every year. And this one, it's hard to beat. So this is the only variety that I'm going to be growing again this season that I've grown before. So I've got two 6-cell trays here. This one here on the left, we're going to be growing all of our dwarf and micro dwarf varieties in. So we've got some Jiffy seed starting mix already pre-moistened and loaded into these 6-cell trays. I've also already drilled holes with this pencil here, 5 holes in each of these cells. I went about a little less, maybe a 1/4 inch deep, so a little bit less deep than the beefsteaks because the seeds are a little bit smaller on the cherry tomatoes. So I've got 2 micro dwarfs here that I got from my Brentwood garden. I'm going to be growing 5 of each variety in these trays, except this one here, this Florida Petite. I got 4 good-sized seeds, and there's 1 tiny seed. So we'll see if that one germinates, but hopefully we get at least 1 to come up. So this is the Florida Petite. So we're going to put that one in here, and I've already got labels also in each cell. So that saves a little bit of time. Put the tiny one in the middle. Next up, we've got the other one from my Brentwood garden. This one is called Flora Gold, and as the name suggests, it's kind of a yellow gold color. So kind of similar color to Sun Gold, I think. So we're going to go ahead and plant that one here. So I only recently started growing micro dwarf tomatoes. It's probably been maybe 3 years or so. Normally people will grow micro dwarfs in a container, but I actually like putting them in ground. They take up very little space, so you can put them just about anywhere. So they're kind of fun. Now our last one is called Orange Dream, and this one I got from Lucia, who I got a few tomatoes from that I started last week. She's in the Tomato Lovers Collective Facebook group, so I do a lot of seed trades in that group. But this one, as the name suggests, is an orange tomato. So we've got, this one goes here. So all of these are actually going to go in the ground except for the one I'm going to plant in a hanging basket. Okay, so those are the only micro dwarfs that I'm going to be growing this season. These last 2 are dwarfs. So they're not micro dwarfs, but they are dwarfs. So they won't get as tall as our other cherry tomatoes here. They may or may not need staking. We'll have to see how big they actually get. I will put a cage around them, and we'll see what happens. But we've got this one here. It's labeled LRC, which stands for Little Red Corvette. And this is one of Bill Yoder's varieties. And if you watched my previous video, you know that Bill Yoder loves 80s music. So all of his tomato varieties are named after 80s songs and 80s bands. So the Little Red Corvette is a Prince song. So he's got several varieties from his Prince collection, and this is one of them. So all of his Prince collection tomatoes, I believe, are dwarf tomatoes. So I've got 2 of those from him, and I did purchase the ones from Bill Yoder. You can only purchase them through his Facebook page and email. And he only sells seeds certain times of the year. So they're not quite as easy to get as you might think. So that's the Little Red Corvette, and it is a red tomato with antho shoulders, so it's kind of purple and red. And then this last one here from the Dwarfs is called 1999, and that is the other Prince variety that I'm growing. So this 1999 is a yellow tomato with antho or purple in it. So all of his tomatoes are really beautiful looking, and many of them have that antho coloring. All right, so that tray is done. Now all we just need to do is gently cover all of those seeds. We did pre-moisten our soil, but I'm going to add a little bit more water to the top before we put it in our germination station. Now our last 6 cherry tomatoes are all Bill Yoder varieties, so ones that I have never grown before. And we're going to start with What You Want. So What You Want is a Beastie Boys song, and this one is a yellow antho one, so kind of similar to 1999, I guess, but I think this variety is a lot smaller size cherry tomatoes. But I'll put up some pictures of these and you can see what they look like, because they are kind of hard to find. If you try Googling them, you might not find them very easily. I'll put a link to his Facebook page in the description of the video, and you can check him out. Okay, and then we've got Hungry Like the Wolf. So this one is a Duran Duran song. I'm growing a couple of his larger varieties from his Duran Duran collection. This is the only cherry tomato that I'm growing from that collection, and this one is a dark red cherry tomato that looks really neat. So we got 5 of those. This one is called Charlotte Sometimes, and this is from his The Cure collection. But this one is a red antho tomato, and it's kind of long shaped, maybe kind of pear shaped, I think. So it's not quite round. So I tried to pick ones that were all a little bit different color and different sizes. Okay, so these last 3, so these are all from his Depeche Mode collection, and we are growing some of his larger Depeche Mode varieties that I started last week. The first one is called Master, and this is a red antho. This one is more pear-shaped, so that I always like growing a few pear varieties. So I'm glad he has a few of those. So we'll put those here in the back. And then related to this one is called Servant. So Master and Servant are kind of go together. So Servant is also a pear cherry tomato, and this one is orange and antho. And then the last one we have is called Just Can't Get Enough. And this one I don't think is pear-shaped, but it's another red antho variety. So lots of antho tomatoes that we're going to be growing this season. But I think this one is a little bit different size than the other red antho cherry tomatoes that we're growing. I actually have a few more of his varieties that did not make the cut, so I might try them next season. All right, that is all of the tomatoes we're going to be growing this season. I'll be sure to check on these and make sure they don't get too leggy like our last ones did. I need to check on them at least twice a day to make sure they get moved to lights as soon as they start germinating. In case you didn't catch my previous tomato seed starting video, this is where I like to germinate my seedlings. So we're on a wire rack. I've got a heat mat underneath this tray. This is a 1020 tray that I got from Bootstrap Farmer. And we've got our trays right there in the middle. We have a heat mat here set to 80 degrees. And we're going to go ahead and put our probe here for the heat mat into one of these middle cells. I like to just put it in the corner here. And to hold in the moisture, we're going to cover it with a humidity dome. And the humidity dome I like to use most often is this one that I got from Epic Gardening. It's much taller than standard humidity domes, and that helps because the tags that I have in the tray there, they get in the way of the normal humidity domes. So this one is extra tall, which helps a lot. And our tomato seeds don't need light to germinate, so I like to cover them with a pillowcase here. And I'll be checking on these every day, at least twice a day, in the afternoon and also in the morning. As soon as I see them start to germinate, I will get them moved over to the lights, which we have set up right here. So we are using T8 shop lights. Those are fluorescent bulbs here that I've got the peppers on right now. So I will probably start them off under the T8 bulbs here, and then once they get big enough, I'll probably move them under the LEDs. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the new tomato varieties that I'm going to be growing this season. I'm really excited to try these varieties from Bill Yoder. If you've grown any of his tomatoes before, whether it's ones that I'm growing this season or different ones, let me know. I'm super excited to see what I come up with. I'm thinking of doing a blog post at the end of this season showing all of the tomato varieties that I grew from Bill Yoder and what I thought of them. I'm sure I'll be doing a video as well, but I think it's good to get his name out there, especially if these turn out to be really good varieties. I think more people may want to grow them. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.